Hey friend, it's Stacy saying hello with a Summer of Sabbath replay. You are listening to episode 25, Making Things Mean Something They Don't, Sabbath Identity. Hi, I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. Oh, friend, could you just hold my hand for a sec? Perhaps that's a bit dramatic, but as I write, I'm sitting at our local community college while my daughter takes a CLEP test. Do you know what those are? College-level exams that if you pass, they earn you college credits, all for about $89. Yes, please. But they're hard tests, and well, I'm her teacher, principal, and superintendent. So I'm sitting here nervous and sweaty, choking back my peanut butter toast as I wait. Why? Because in moments like these, I'm tempted to make things mean something they don't. I'm tempted to derive my value from a result, my identity from my work. If she passes, she's brilliant, and I'm Teacher of the Year. Woo woo! If she fails, though, what does that say? That's some pretty shaky ground. Well, at the end of the day, the outcome of this test says nothing about me or my daughter. It's just data, nothing more. But again, I'm tempted to make things mean something they don't. You too? In the moment, it's hard to remember our value doesn't come from results. Identity doesn't come from results. It comes from rest. So let's keep chatting through our Summer of Sabbath series, a few moments where we cover all the things R&R for your soul and mine as we stop, rest, delight, and worship. As summer winds down, let's linger a bit more with Sabbath worship. Plus, you can keep me company, lest my nerves invite my breakfast for an encore performance. Gross. Oh, why do we make things mean something they don't? Why do we think our successes or failures reflect our worth and value? We're all tempted to do this, and we all lean this way more often than we'd care to admit or be aware. I think there's a pretty simple reason for this, and it goes all the way back to the beginning, as in the beginning. Yes, just like the 10 Commandments are found twice in the desert wanderings, there's two separate creation versions as well. The first one is Genesis 1:1 through 2:3, and this is our zoomed out big picture. It's our oh so familiar 7-day story of God who created everything from nothing, the grand finale being day 7, a day of rest, the Sabbath. This is the dream. But then we see a second telling of creation, a zoomed-in close-up in Genesis 2 and 3. This is the more detailed account of the creation of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, and the serpent's sneaky little lure, did God really say? This second account ends with the fall of mankind. We glimpse the dream in Genesis 2:3, but welcome to our reality. This is like the ultimate of those expectation versus reality memes. Oy. The first creation account was the dream, the perfect life, no death, pain, or suffering, absolute perfection, with Sabbath as the final crescendo, man's first full day of existence in blessed Sabbath rest and play with the Creator, living out of a place of rest, our identity established in Sabbath. Two creation perspectives, two storylines highlighting our value and identity. The first details big T truth that we're highly valued and worthy of love simply because we're made in His image. The second makes things mean something they don't, namely that our value comes from work over rest. In Genesis 3, the temptation was to turn away from trusting in God's word. Did God really say? To turn away from the truth that our identity is rooted in Sabbath rest, not humanity's work. Did God really say? It's a temptation to turn away from our God-given identity as a human being in exchange for our man-made identity as a human doing. And we've been hard at work ever since, trying to convince ourselves and the world around us that we're valuable, important, and worth it. But here's the thing, hurry and work, even hard work, isn't evidence of our importance. Think about it. When someone asks you how you are, what's the go-to response? Whew, busy. Yeah, it's been busy. How about you? Yeah, so busy. Busy times. Yep, it's busy. Let's face it, busy is our baseline. Hustling is our goal, and hurry is our addiction. Can you imagine if someone asked how you are and you responded with, "Oh, I'm well rested with plenty of time"? No one says this. You'd be hardcore judged. In the book An Unhurried Life, Alan Fadling says, quote, "We assume that others will admire our busy and implied successful lives." Oh, friend, he's not wrong. And I gotta admit, the older I get, I'm just not impressed with busy anymore. Because busy does not equal important. It doesn't even equal successful. I'm over trying to convince myself and everyone else how important I am, that I actually do matter. No, I matter because I'm made in His image. You matter because you're made in His image. Hard stop. So if we weren't created first and foremost as human doings, what does it mean to pattern our lives as a human being? What would it look like to root our identity in Sabbath rather than our work? Our identity grounded in rest, not the grind. It's funny. The only thing called holy in Genesis 2:3 is rest, is Sabbath, not work. Rest. Oh, God's not against work, my friend. You'd be hard-pressed to make a case for otherwise. Work's always been in the plan. You'll read about it several times in the creation story alone. But it didn't drive us. Work wasn't our worth, value, and identity. Rest was. Because rest, Sabbath, was the starting place all along. A settled, resolved rest. An I'm loved and highly valued rest. A Hebrews 4 rest, which we'll discuss over coffee next week. Stay tuned. So how do we continue to recognize our identity and value isn't tied to our work, our success, and our failures? It's actually pretty simple. Once a week, I choose to worship by bringing the gift of my broken ideology and false beliefs that I'm somehow more and most valuable when I'm working and doing. I'm going to bring all of that and all the cultural lies that say I've got to climb higher, advance forward, double back, side hustle, and dig deep. All the lies and misperceptions, comparisons, and the trappings that trip me up. Bring all of that junky thinking to Christ, the Lord of the Sabbath, and say, enough. I'm tired of making things mean something they don't. I'm valuable because I'm made in His image. Not corporate America's, not the unions, not cultures, not for what I do, but for who I am. Matthew 3 tells the story of Jesus' baptism, and as He comes up out of the water, the heavens open, and a voice from heaven thunders, "This is my Son, whom I love. With Him I am well pleased." Before Jesus ever begins His public ministry, His quote-unquote work, God says, I love Him. I'm pleased with Him. Because our identity isn't found in our work. It's rooted in relationship with Christ, the Lord of the Sabbath. And that, my friend, is a very good way to enter into Sabbath worship. So when I'm tempted to make things mean something they don't, when I tell myself a test score reflects my value as a teacher, when I'm convinced my work is why I matter, that I am what I do, I'm never more than 6 days away from Sabbath, from reorienting myself back to an identity rooted in Sabbath rest. And neither are you. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.